Hey everybody, DM Galabond here, and tonight we have a special feature. We are here for what I like to call session 96.5 with Oyahusa, his player Ken, and myself. And we are going to be focusing on something that happened to Oyahusa in between session 96 and 97 of our game. So you should be hearing this. This should be dropping in the feed in the right order. And when it gets to the archives in YouTube, I will put it in the order where it should appear. But in case you are coming into this, this happens shortly after the party has arrived back in Waterdeep, and shortly after Oyahusa has met up with his friend Hargaf. And Hargaf has allowed him to find a place that Oyahusa can go, get away from the other party members, and sort of focus on all of the things that have been going on with him that are preying on his mind. So, Oyahusa.
Yes.
You find yourself in this little safe house that Hargaf has, and would Oyo prefer to go out to the little garden in the back and meditate, or would he meditate indoors?
He would definitely make use of the garden. He likes gardens.
Okay, so there's this pretty little, completely walled with a privacy wall garden. There's a couple of trees around. There's a little water feature over there that just is sort of burbling quietly. There's kind of a little, couple of little statuary over there. Just pleasant sort of woodland type scene. And would you be doing your meditations here during the daytime, or in the evening, or early morning, at night? What?
He usually enjoys about an hour or so before dawn.
Okay.
He loves the sunrise.
Okay. Well, you look up and it's just that real dark, inky black night sky before you can see the faintest edges of light on the horizon. That's what's above you, and the stars are sort of wheeling. And there's lots of things that have been swirling around in Oyahusa's mind of late. What would Oyahusa be thinking about this morning?
He's thinking about how grand everything has been, and as far as the scale of his adventure so far, and he's been thinking about everything that's happened since he came to Waterdeep those so many months ago, and just everything that's transpired. He's thinking about his companions, the new companions that have come into his party, and he's concerned about who's really pulling the strings. And he's been trying to figure that out. He's wondering, he knows that the Githyanki are involved. He realizes that there are other forces at play, but who's masterminding this whole thing with Tacinda and her disappearance, and what's the end game? But he's also been thinking about this particular deity that's taken an interest in him, and he's trying to figure out what does that entail. What kind of path lies before him and his allies? How can he keep his allies safe? Just a lot of tactician thinking, and now he has this artifact that he doesn't really know anything about, has kind of a difficult starting relationship with it seems.
And what would Sarador want with one such as you? You feel coming from the sword.
He thinks for a moment and he replies, I do not know what Sarador wants of me.
Well, that's a good sign. They say the realization of ignorance is the first step on the path to wisdom.
What do you know of Sarador? I have a feeling that you are on not good terms with him.
Not on good terms. Well, and you would think that because he would let me into the hands of one such as you? Ha! Maybe. Maybe that is a sign. Maybe he's trying to remind me of where I once was. Where I once started. You. I've observed you for these past few days. I'll grant you this. You and your companions are impressive. You make a good team. You work well together. But in you, I sense potential that has been as yet untapped. You walk paths that you have been taught, and you seem reluctant to explore beyond those old lessons that the masters of your youth gave you. How do you expect to grow?
By simply living. Time is a good teacher.
You may be an elf, but if all else simply allowed time to be their teacher, then the entire race of you would be nothing but a pile of bones before the first one of you ever learned to write or play music or cast a spell. You can't just simply wait for lessons. You have to strive.
I know,
Seek.
but I'm just saying as a starting point, that is a good place to begin.
What if I told you that you had it in you to be more than you may be able to imagine?
How do you mean?
I have noticed you're a keen observer of most things. Some things you seem practically blind to until they literally bite you. Other things you seem to have a keen ability to sense. And yet there are gifts that you have been given that you haven't even begun to realize you can unlock.
I'm listening.
Do you think you are ready for a lesson?
I am always ready for a lesson. I enjoy learning.
Hmm. You enjoy it. You say you enjoy it. Well, let me tell you about a place. Close your eyes. There is a place, a temple of sorts, where all is not as it seems. An injustice has been perpetrated there. And all the clues necessary to right that injustice are there before you. Together. Actually, no. I will observe. You will go and unlock these secrets. And as the sword talks, you feel something of a shift. And you find yourself in a new place. And you are standing in front of a temple. Oops, and I am going to do that. All right. You are standing in front of a temple. There is a grand temple that stands before you, and it is one of three buildings that you can see. As you look before you, the temple has a vaguely familiar layout to it. There's some statuary that looks like something that tickles your mind. Go ahead and give me a history check. See if you recognize the iconography of this temple. 16. Yeah, that's good enough. You recognize the way this temple is carved. Some of the statuary and some of the decorations. It has strong echoes of the Temple of Sune in Waterdeep. But clearly, as you look around, you're not in Waterdeep. You are in a forest. And you're on a path. And as you look back behind you to the south, there is a woodland trail that leads away, and it is lined on either side by small lily flowers. And as you look above the door, there is a sign, kind of a archway sign, that reads the Temple of the Restful Lily. And beyond the main temple, kind of on the west and behind the main temple, is a building that looks kind of like a bathhouse. And on the right side and behind the temple is a building that looks like a tower, about a 3-story squat tower. And as you look ahead of you, the path leads up to some stairs, and there's some double doors, and it looks like there is a large foyer or entry hall of some sort in there. So what would Oyohusa do?
I will obviously, I think, go forward and see if this door is locked once I can here.
Yeah, you walk up and the door is actually not locked. And as you look inside, you actually see a figure inside, sitting behind a desk. And this figure looks like a half elf.
These doors are unlocked.
Yeah, the double doors are unlocked. Beyond the doors is a large lobby. A desk stands at the center of the room, holding neatly piled papers and fresh-cut lilies in a vase. A dark-haired half-elf man in fine clothes is seated behind the table. Looks to be working on something. Okay, as you open the door, the pleasant chime of a bell rings. And the man looks up, and he stands, and you can tell he's a very, very handsome half-elf man. And the air in here is filled with the scent of fresh lilies. And he says, "Oh, welcome, friend, to the Restful Lily. Freshen yourself in our luxurious bathhouse. Or perhaps you would like a massage from one of our staff, or a haircut, or a shave, or a pedicure. Oh, your road-tired feet simply must cry out for comfort. Whatever your pleasure, we are here to serve."
Perhaps I could buy the relaxation package.
Oh, yes. Yes, the relaxation package. Now, would you like the manicure, pedicure, shave, haircut, and massage? Would you like to have the healing mineral bath? Or would you like to just have the use of a guest room for a night or two?
You've talked me into it. I'll have all of the above.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Uh, Now, there is a special exercise class that Azira has in the courtyard, and he sort of extends his hand to the west. And as you look out, you can see a courtyard a walled courtyard out to the west beyond a door, and there is a copper-skinned elf that is in that area, and she is she has several humans and half elves that are there, and they're involved in some mild calisthenics, and she's leading them in a class of sorts. And the fellow steps out here with you, and he says, "Yes, this is Mistress Azirsa. Mistress Azirsa is our her specialty is in invigorating the physical health of our guests here. You will also meet Mistress Morgana. And Mistress Morgana, she is the one who will deal with the beauty, the massage, the haircut, the pedicure, the manicure. She will make sure that you are so nice and presentable. And then you will also meet Mr. Screensong, and she is in charge of the nutrition. She will make sure that the meals that you have while you are here are precisely to your liking of your palate and to the best needs of your physical health and your mental health. We take care of the entire person while you are here at the Restful Lily. And our packages are very reasonable. For a full package, the cost is merely 10 gold pieces per day.
That will not be a problem.
Okay. Would the gentleman be interested in spending a day with us, or 3 days with us, or a 10-day with us?
Perhaps we could just have an open book.
Ah, an open book. This is wonderful. This is wonderful. Okay, my name is Seth. You need anything? I will be in there at my desk. You come in, you ask Seth for whatever you need. Now, before you partake of the exercise class, may I show you the changing rooms? They are all very private, I assure you, but I can show you where you can get changed and ready for the exercise, or ready for the bath, or the other amenities that you choose to indulge in.
Very well.
And he steps back in, and he walks back here. And you can see that there are indeed these little alcoves back along this hall, and they are private, and there are a couple of hangers where you can put robes or things like that, and there is a chest that looks like a very secure chest. And each chest has a padlock on it. And several of the alcoves, they have like a robe or something hanging up in them, and maybe some boots there. And the chest in those alcoves is locked. And there are others that have nothing hanging up and no footwear there. And they have a chest which is open, and the lock is unlocked, and it's just hanging through the edge of the lock. And he says, and I will give you a key for the chest in number 4. And he hands you a small little silver key that looks like it goes for a small padlock. And he shows you the little alcove for number 4. And he says, all right, I will leave you to it, and later on today we can settle up for the price for your first day. But you just enjoy yourself, and if you decide in the next hour or so that you are leaving, just bring the key back and drop it off at my desk, and there will be no charge. All right, it's very pleasant to meet you. And he
Thank you.
gives you a little wave, and then he kind of goes back to his desk. And your sword says, as he walks away, your sword says, "You're not letting me out of your sight, are you?"
What, you want me to carry you around a spa? That would be a bit odd.
I certainly wouldn't want that one having his paws all over me.
Very well, I will keep you with me if it makes you happy. And he goes in and he puts his other stuff in and changes, and
Okay.
he puts Tatsumatsu on his back.
Okay. All right. And in these changing rooms, there's rows of curtained cubicles. Guests can change out of traveling clothes and armor. And then the trunk with a lock and the pegs for hanging items up. And you can see then beyond the changing room, there's double doors at the back, and there is a large area that looks like it has a floor of polished white marble surrounds a large central pool of steaming turquoise water in this large open-air bath. Stone pillars stand along the outside wall, sculpted with relief carvings of Sune. Between the pillars, frosted windows diffuse the light from the outside to the mist that hangs in the air, and that is going to be this area to the north from here. And here. So there's like a bath area here, and so those lines are like little marble steps that just lead down to the surface of the water. So it's just very little shallow steps.
All right.
And you see, because of your passive perception, you notice a figure moving in the water. And it seems vaguely humanoid. And as you approach, it kind of just sort of mirrors your emotion. And it moves along here, and it seems kind of curious.
Hello?
And then it suddenly freezes and gets very still, and it nearly completely disappears, and you realize that this figure looks like it's kind of made out of water itself, has a vaguely humanoid form, but it appears to almost be a humanoid that's made out of water. And it just does its best to freeze there. And it almost completely disappears, but because you noticed it while it was moving, you would be able to tell if it moves, so you know it's just sitting there. And it's kind of looking at you.
You do not need to be afraid of me. My name is Oriohusa.
And the figure comes up to the surface of the water, and it swims a little closer, and you can see that as it partially emerges from the water, it kind of emerges up to the top of its shoulders, and you can see it's kind of got a vaguely feminine looking face, and it says, "How do you see me?"
I have very good eyes.
You must. Most people come in and swim, and they never even know that I am here.
That must be very lonely.
It sometimes is, and it kind of looks past you a little bit nervously. You can make an insight check if you want to.
Okay.
Oh, you can tell from the way it answered that it seems like it thinks of this place as a as a wonderful home, but recently something has changed, and it seems scared of something, or perhaps someone.
I don't mean to pry, but are you afraid of something?
And it just seems startled, and it says, "What would make you think that?"
I am a very good judge of character also.
The one in there, and it sort of raises an arm that again looks like it's an arm made out of water, and extends a finger back down the hall towards the changing rooms and towards the lobby, and it says, "He's not very nice, and neither are the other three."
Could you elaborate a little bit more?
I don't know. Maybe I've said too much. Make a persuasion check. The creature looks at you, and the creature says, "Yeah, I don't trust you enough yet. But just know they're not very nice. Maybe if you Maybe if you prove you won't hurt me, I'll tell you more. But for now, I can't talk. And the creature dives back into the water and eventually swims down far enough that even to your eyes it appears to disappear. Almost like it becomes a part of the water.
Okay.
And your sword says, yes. What are the talks? It doesn't yet trust you. But you know something about not trusting everyone you meet at first sight. Can you blame it?
No, I cannot.
I wonder what else we will find. As you go, okay, you can see there's actually not any doors over there on the east side.
Okay.
If you go back through the lobby, and I figured out something to do. What I had to do is I took these things and I made them into tokens, and that was the only way I could make something where I could move it and a player wouldn't inadvertently move it, but I had to create it as a token. But now it lets me very easily add and remove blocks to open and or to reveal and hide certain areas. There's a door here that leads into another area. And this area has large cushioned chairs are set around an open space. Calming music fills the air, and the air carries a floral scent. A bar takes up one corner of the room alongside shelves of expensive wines and spirits and baskets of fresh fruit. 2 tables stand along one wall, each set up as a manicure and pedicure station with nail files, clippers, and bottles of nail varnish. And there are a couple of people in here. There's a bartender over here. There is someone that looks like a server with a tray that has just walked away from a patron over here by one of the manicure stations, and actually behind that manicure station is a very striking looking elf female. She is a slender moon elf with smooth black hair and sparkling sapphire eyes. And she is doing the nails for what looks to be a wealthy half-elf human female. And they are sort of gossiping in low tones. And the manicurist is commenting on what lovely skin the half elf has. And as you stand there, the bartender raises a hand and calls in a soft voice. He says, well, hello, guest. Come sit down at the bar. You interested in wine or water, tea, juice? The name's Jambarin. Whatever you want to drink, I'll set it up for you.
Jambrain, I would like a glass of hot tea, please.
Oh, hot tea. So are you... Do you want an herbal tea or a breakfast tea?
What time of day is it? It's early in the morning, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's early in the morning when you're doing your meditation. Here, it feels like it's morning, but it's full daylight.
Mm-hmm. I shall have the breakfast tea.
Oh, very well, sir. And so he puts a little cloth mat out there, and he puts a nice little silver spoon there, and he sets up a little dish that has some cubes of sugar, and a dish that has some wedges of citrus, and a dish that and a little dish that has a little a small pitcher of cream there, and he puts a nice fancy cloth napkin down there for it, and he says, and he starts going over and working on brewing the tea. And as he does, he talks to you over his shoulder. He says, "So, where are you in from? In from Silvery Moon, or Waterdeep, or someplace further afield?"
I'm from Waterdeep.
Oh, Waterdeep. How is the City of Splendors doing these days?
Just as busy and mysterious as always. Trade is good.
Oh, well, that's good. That's good. So, you come here to get away from the hustle and bustle for a few days, enjoy the comforts of the spa.
Indeed, I've come for some relaxation. It's much needed.
Ah, yes. Well, you're welcome to visit here, friend. I'm sure you'll enjoy your stay. And he gets there's a little bone china cup he brings over and sets down, and then he brings over a little kettle that is also a bone china kettle that is in a little tea cozy, and he sets that down next to the little placemat, and he says, "Would you like a bowl of fresh fruit with your tea?"
That would be lovely, thank you.
Very well. So he goes and he brings you over a small bowl, and then he brings you over kind of a platter and sets it down, and there's fresh fruit on there. There are some berries, and there's like a couple of peaches, and maybe an apple, and an orange there, and they've got some tongs that you can use, and then there's some grapes as well, and maybe a banana or two. They've got some tongs that you can pick up, like the little finger stuff, and put it over on your plate. They also have a little tool like for the citrus where you can start the rind to peel it more easily if you want to grab a piece of citrus. But he just sets that there. He says, there's all the other customers have had either early breakfast or they'll be coming for late breakfast. You've got the spot to your place, or you've got the spot to yourself for right now. But I'm gonna have to move the tray back behind the bar if other people show up, or else there won't be anything left for the lunch hour. He says, and he talks with this kind of jovial tone, but he keeps it very sort of subdued. You can tell he doesn't want his voice to carry and interfere with the, with the manicurist over in the corner. And he says, "So what are you looking forward to most at the spa? The bath, the massage, just the quiet guest rooms?"
I'm looking forward to all of it, to be honest, as he sips some of his tea and reaches over and grabs a bit of cheese.
Okay. It's a very, very fine breakfast tea. And it's been brewed with. It's one of those things like where they have left the little infuser in the pot, but there's a little place that you can pull the infuser out of the pot whenever you feel like it's had enough. But so you would have known that as soon as they brought it over, so you can have it as strong or as weak as you want. But the flavor of the tea is makes you think of some of the more expensive and more exquisite teas that you have had, at least here on Toril.
This tea is particularly nice. I am impressed. And he kind of just reaches over and takes a couple of berries and just kind of eats them.
He says, "Well, I'm glad you like it, sir. We spare no expense to see to the comfort of our guests here. After all, we like people to enjoy their stay and like it even more when they recommend the Temple of the Restful Lily to their friends when they go back home."
All right, if I need anything else, I know where to come. And he gets up and he takes his plate of berries and a few grapes and some cheese and his hot tea, and he walks over here.
Okay. All right. So as you approach, the half-elf woman and the manicurist, they both look up, and the woman is sort of looking at her nails and admiring them and saying, "Oh, Morgana, you are a wizard when it comes to the nails. These are the best my nails have looked in 10 years." And the manicurist, she titters a little bit, says, "Oh, thank you so much. You are so kind. You are so kind. Well, now remember, you can have a pedicure anytime you like. So you can go and partake of anything else, and I will be here all day." And the half-elf says, "Oh, well, thank you." And she looks up and she sort of the half-elf shows you her nails, and she says, "Don't they look wonderful?" And you look at them and, well, I suppose if that's your bag, yeah, they look very expertly done, nicely polished and whatnot. They looks like great work. I don't know how much Oyahusa pays attention to manicures, but if he did, he would think, yeah, okay, pretty good.
Well, he's getting one today.
The moon elf looks at you and says, "Oh, sir, you wish a manicure today?"
Yes,
And
please.
she walks over and she says, um, "I haven't seen you here. Are you a new arrival with us?"
Yes, I just got here a while ago.
"Oh, wonderful. And I see that Jambarin has already got you some tea. I hope it's to your liking. I am Morgana. Together with two of my friends, we run this humble spa here. It's such a lovely and tranquil place, and may I say it's made even more so by the lovely guests that we have coming. And she flashes you a little smile.
Oyo just kind of grins back and smiles and thank you. It is very nice to be here.
Oh, good. So what has brought you to the spa today, other than a manicure? And she lays out her equipment, and she reaches out for one of your hands, and she takes a little exfoliating scrub brush, and she starts to swirl it in a bit of what looks like some ointment or something like that. And she looks up to make sure that you are ready for her to begin on this one hand. Um, so she'll wait until you give the go ahead.
I just kind of talk to her and I say,
Okay.
I haven't had much time to take care of myself lately, so I am afraid that my hands and nails are in need of some help.
And she begins to work on it, and she says, "Oh, yes, very, very calloused hands, and strong, I can tell. Um, you, no, you don't look like a farmer. But may I ask what sort of work you do?"
Yes, I'm a merchant.
"A merchant? Oh, a merchant with such strong hands. You you must have trouble finding help, and I can't imagine. I would imagine that um, people would fall all over themselves to work for you."
I don't have very many employees. I do more of a consulting type of business, if you will.
Oh, so does that take you often on travels from your home city?
Yes, indeed. I do travel quite extensively.
Oh, well, perhaps you could tell me a little bit about one of your recent trips.
Oyo just starts telling her about a trip to Cholt that happened a while back.
Oh, okay. All right. Uh, Schultz. Oh, there was some horrible business down that way a few years ago, with all the death curse and whatnot. Were you helping folk recover from that?
No, not particularly. I was just there on business for trade.
Oh, well, yes. I guess they must be reestablishing trade networks now after that horrible Acererak has been dealt with. Hmm. Sounds like just a horrifying person. It
Indeed,
makes
it
me.
was quite a plague upon the land there, that's for sure. But now things are better. Trade is recovering in that part of the world and thriving.
Make an insight check. Ooh, 27. When you say plague on the land, there's a little bit, you can sense there's a little bit of a skip of the motion of her little exfoliating scrub pad on your hand, and you catch in her eyes, just momentarily, you catch like a little bit of sort of a gleeful look when you say a plague on the land. But she immediately covers that by just saying, "Oh, that's so horrible."
Yes, indeed, there was much death and suffering.
Oh, death and suffering. That sounds so terrible. That's what her voice says, but now that you're kind of looking at it, her eyes are just sort of, when you talk about death and suffering, there's just almost kind of a lustful look in her eyes.
Have you ever been to Chult?
No, I haven't, and I couldn't imagine going to a place that has so many horrid insects and so much disease. She says the word disease with a little bit too much, glee. She's trying to sound, positively mollified, but or horrified, but she's expressing a little bit too much giddiness when she says the word disease. I understand. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, not to mention all the undead that was running around and zombies eating people's brains and whatnot.
And she looks up at you, and her mouth is trying to make this look of shock, but her eyes are sort of glimmering, and the look of shock, it probably for most people it would look like she's shocked, but just kind of the way the edges of her mouth are, to you it looks more like an open mouth smile.
My God.
Oh, sir, please don't talk about such horrible things. Oh, and then she trembles, but clearly she's making an effort to tremble, to look like she's uncomfortable with that. And she's not, she's not pulling it off very well.
Yeah.
For your ability to see this. So
he kind of just looks her in the eyes and he grins at her and he says, "Oh, but all of that is gone now. But if you ever have a chance to visit Chult, you should, because there are quite the, how do I say, a more forbidden forms of entertainment and pleasure that can be acquired there that you would not find on the mainland of Faerun."
And when you say that all of that is gone, she seems kind of disappointed. She's trying to show happiness, but the real emotion there is disappointment. And then you talk about you start talking about forbidden pleasures, and she says, "Oh," she says, "well, this." She gives your hand a little bit of a squeeze, and she says, "The Temple of the Restful Lily is a place where all of life's pleasures can be enjoyed." And she gives you a little smile.
Indeed. And he looks down at his hand. Well, you do very nice work. Have you been doing this long?
Oh, yes, I've been doing manicures for over 100 years. Now, my business partners and I, we only took over this place about a decade ago, but we do a good enough business. We have people coming in from Silvery Moon and from Waterdeep, and sometimes we even get visitors from as far away as Baldur's Gate. If I may ask, where are you in from today?
I am just visiting from Waterdeep.
Oh, Waterdeep. Such a lovely city. So many wonderful things to do there. And the server sort of walks up and gives a little curtsy, and Morgana looks up at her and says, "Yes, Marikaran, how can I help you?" And she says, "Oh, I was just wondering if Sir needed more tea or needed anything else. I can bring Sir something."
No, thank you. I'm quite all right.
Okay, and she appears to be a half-elf female, maybe around 20 or so, or would appear about like a 20-year-old human with vaguely elvish features. And she bobs another little curtsy, and she then steps away and heads back over towards the kitchen area. And yes, Morgana does gives you a wonderful manicure. You're as she finishes with one hand, you do notice that the skin of your hand looks and feels noticeably softer. It's like she has exfoliated all of the rough calluses, and she's put some ointment and some cream, and she'll tell you a little bit about the moisturizing properties of the cream and the and the minerals that are in that, and the oils and stuff, and she'll talk about the health of your cuticles and your nails and stuff as she works. So in addition to talking to you about where you have been, and every now and then when you say something that seems like it's kind of negative, she sort of starts involuntarily giving your hand a little squeeze in kind of almost an excited way. It's like she starts to realize that or you can tell that she realizes that she doesn't even realize she's doing it.
At one point, he'll not to like really hurt her, but since he's kind of like picking up what she's laying down, if you will, he kind of grabs her by the hands ever so slightly and just kind of like presses one of her pressure points and see how she reacts to the pain.
And she looks up at you, and there's genuine surprise in her eyes for a moment. And she says, "Oh, your hands are quite strong. Please, could you let go, please?"
He just makes it look like it's an accident, like he he knocks over his plate and he just goes to like catch it and whatever, and that was just part of what happens while he's doing
Oh,
that.
okay.
Maybe
All right.
he purposely lets the plate fall but accidentally grabbed her hand.
Oh, okay. All right. So there's a little crash on the floor, and Marikarin comes running over and says, "Oh, sir, I'm sorry. And
I
starts to-
apologize. I'm so sorry. I'm very clumsy. Excuse me.
"Oh, it is no bother. It is no bother. It's only a plate. It can be easily replaced." And she has a little dustpan and a little whisk broom, and she sort of sweeps up the little shards of the plate and the crumbs and stuff, and uh, bits of whatever was on the plate. And then she has a rag, and she sort of wipes up the floor after that, and then she picks that back up, and she before she leaves to go back to the kitchen, she says, "May I bring you anything else, monsieur?"
No. Thank you very much. I'm sorry for the inconvenience. And he looks at Morgana in the eyes. Says, I'm sorry. Did I hurt you?
And now she's kind of recomposed herself, and I mean, she sees that you knocked the plate over, and that was kind of when you grabbed her hand, and so she's all the genial host. "Oh, no, sir, no, sir, no, sir. You're a valued guest of ours. That's quite fine. Thank you so much, Marikarin. You do lovely work, my child." And the server, she just sort of beams, and she curtsies, and she says, "Oh, thank you, Mistress Morgana." And she will head back towards the kitchen. And Morgana says, "Oh, no, sir, I'm not hurt. I was merely surprised. I guess it was the shock of the hearing the plate fall and shatter on the floor, but everything is okay." And then you can tell she's kind of working her hand a little bit, where you had squeezed that pressure point. But she's trying to smooth it over with a smile. You can make an insight check if you want to.
Okay.
"21 is pretty good. Yeah, you can tell she's kind of curious what brought that on, and you don't think that she believes that you were really all that clumsy. But you've set kind of a puzzle for her, and now she's sort of trying to figure out what's going on. And your sword will say to you, my, she is a devious one, isn't she?"
Indeed.
And of course, this is telepathic.
This could be a bit fun. And Oyo just says, well, good, I'm glad I didn't hurt you. I prefer not to hurt anyone unless it's for my own pleasure.
And that sort of catches her off guard. And she says, "Oh, well, uh, yes, well, if that indeed is something that you require, we might be able to accommodate. Of course, that would be above and beyond the normal services of the spa."
Oh no, I wouldn't want to be a barber. I am quite satisfied already, and you have done such a marvelous job. I'm excited to relax and take a hot bath soon. And do you suggest any other spa treatments that I should partake in?
Oh, well, and there are the massage rooms, of course, and the bath is very relaxing and very, very hot. You will like it. You will like it, I'm sure. And the rooms, you will sleep very comfortably. And you will not hear. You will not hear a sound. The walls of the guest rooms are quite thick, and the doors are quite solid. And you will not be disturbed at all during your rest.
I think that I will have a massage next. Where is that located in the facility?
And she points. I believe she's going to point to the north. Yes, she points to the north. And she says, "Oh, the treatment rooms are right through the double doors to the north. Ilmar is the most talented masseuse that I have ever met."
Oh, you're not also the masseuse? What a shame.
"Oh no, my specialty is the manicure and the pedicure."
Well, we all have to specialize in something, don't we?
Yes, yes. The I find that when one focuses on one's craft, one can get as close as possible to perfection. And after all, in the service of Lady Firehair, we want to perfect beauty as much as we can.
Yes, Sune is a very interesting deity.
Yes, she is. Most interesting.
Matter of fact, I do believe that I have an old friend that is a high-ranking member of her order.
Oh, really? Was your friend the one that referred you to us?
No, not exactly. But she did teach me a thing or two about Sune.
Ah, she. And would this be a special friend of yours?
No, sadly, she's not attracted to my type. But she was a friend nonetheless.
Oh, well, that's a shame. I'm sure you will find plenty here at the temple who would be more amenable to your charms. And she gives you a little smile.
And he playfully smiles back at her, and he'll move towards the massage area.
Okay. Yeah, the best you can tell, you have had a wonderful wonderful manicure. Now this is a long corridor, and there's 2 treatment rooms. There's one here and one here. And as you let's see, as you go, as you pass by the first door, you will see that there is a figure in the room, and there's a table, a massage table that is set out, and the figure has its back to you, but you can tell from the color of the skin that this figure is a drow. And it's has sort of long silver hair in a ponytail, and sort of that very characteristic smooth, almost shiny drow skin. This particular drow has skin that is almost the color of a ripe olive, but with just a little bit of a hue of bluish purple in the dark skin. And as you enter, the drow turns around, and you can see that it is a drow male, and he introduces himself as Ilmar Mizram. He says, welcome. I am Ilmar Mizram. I am the head esthetician of the bathhouse. I can help you with a shave, a haircut, a wax, or a massage.
Oh my God.
What is your need today? I can.
Yes, I was looking to get probably my hair and my face taken care of and spiffied up, if you will, and I need a massage.
Oh, very well. And he goes into some kind of clinical questions, whether, you have tightness in muscles, or whether you feel like you've pulled something, just sort of, or whether you just need sort of to work the kinks out of some of the muscles and things like that. It's all of the questions that you would expect from somebody who is very serious about doing sort of a medicinal type massage. And he has a couple of different razors and clippers and everything there, and he will have you first sit. He'll spread out a sheet and have you sit, and he'll come up and he'll just sort of inspect your face and look at your chin line and your hairline, and he'll sort of ask you questions about how you want your beard and hair trimmed up and whatnot, and whether you want to be fully clean shaven or if there's anything you want left after the shave. And,
just tells him that he wants a good clean shave and
okay,
kind of, a spiffy up around the ears and the hairline and whatnot.
Okay, and he will go and he will close the door on the treatment room, and he will come back, and he will begin to work, and he'll just start to, he kind of gives you the classic barber's questions, while he's working on cutting your hair, how is everything going, and what are you? What are you here for? Primary reason that you've come to the temple, and whatnot.
And he just tell him that he's here from Waterdeep and he's just on a spa day, basically.
And he says, and when you say you're here from Waterdeep, he's doing a little bit of trimming, and he pauses for just ever so slight a beat, and he says, "You've come all the way out here from Waterdeep, and you know the main temple of Sune in Waterdeep offers all of these services and more."
Yes, but I was looking for a reason to get out of this city.
Ah, okay. Very well. Make an insight check. Okay. You get a feeling like maybe there's something that he wants to say, but he's kind of biting his tongue, and he then continues working, and so he'll quiz you a little bit about Waterdeep, and you notice that now he's asking you some questions. These are all things that Oyahusa would know. They're not necessarily things that the DM would know, so I'm not going to actually ask you these questions. But he's asking you about like landmarks of places or businesses that Oyahusa would know about. They're things that somebody who's a resident of Waterdeep would know about, but somebody who's visited the city may not know about. And it's like he's sort of just testing to see if you really are from Waterdeep. And all the questions he asks, Oyo knows. Oyo knows the answers to all of them, and you can answer immediately. And he seems, very satisfied with the answers that you're giving.
Yeah, I mean, as Oyo is not truly from Waterdeep, but he knows the city
Yeah, but
very
you
well.
lived there. Yeah,
Yeah.
You've lived there for years before the campaign started. So,
Right.
You were there long enough to know all of this stuff. So he doesn't ask anything about the attack on the city or anything like that. He doesn't ask about any of the rebuilding, but one of the questions he asks you about is a business that you know for a fact was destroyed in the Githyanki attack. So when he asks you about that one, how would you respond?
I would just tell him that it was destroyed.
And then he stops again, and he looks at you, and he says, "You are from Waterdeep. Okay, good."
Yes, that whole mess with the Githyanki was quite, how do you say, destructive.
Yes, that's for sure. It was. I lost several friends in that nasty mess. Of course, I've been out of the city for several years, but still, it was sad to hear about them. You'd be surprised in the last few months how many people claim to be from Waterdeep, but they wouldn't know the yawning portal from the ports. Seems that the attack has made people want to claim to be from Waterdeep for whatever reason. Maybe they want to make people think that their lives are more adventurous than they really are.
Perhaps that is true. But I personally, I don't know why anybody would lie. I mean, about such things.
Well, some people, in my experience, I found that there are two kinds of people in the world. There are those who make peace with their lot in life and learn to find the joys that it has, and there are those who are never content no matter what life brings them. And, there are times when I was a younger man, times when I traveled, and all I wanted was just to settle down because I thought of all of the simple everyday pleasures that you have when your life is not a constant roving from one place to another. And then there are times that I have been settled down, and I think it would be nice to travel again because I think of all the wonderful things you can see. I consider myself fairly well adjusted because I can find the pleasures no matter what the station of my life is. If a season has me traveling, I know how to find the joy in that. If a season finds me staying in one place all the time, I know how to find the joys in that. And I just hate to see people who are miserable no matter what life brings them. And he just continues sort of trimming up your hair, and he gives you a very nice shave, and and when he finishes your hair and your shave, he holds up a little hand mirror and lets you inspect, and it looks pretty much like just what you wanted. He's done a very good job there with that. And then he says, okay, sir, well, if you can just pull the robe off, you can keep your tunic on, but if you pull your robe off and lay down on the table on your belly, we'll begin with massaging your back.
Very well. And he does it, and he lays down.
Okay. And then he does the typical sports massage type of thing, like where he finds the pressure points in the muscles, and he kneads them with his knuckles and with his thumbs and things like that. And he has like some mineral oil, and he'll work on your legs and he'll work on your arms, and then he'll kind of start at the base of your neck and sort of work down your spine, and then kind of up along either side of your spine, and he will talk to you a little bit, and it seems kind of almost like he seems to be talking around topics and never quite actually talking to topics. And it seems almost like he's kind of fishing for something, but you're not quite sure what it is, and you might have to ask him if you.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't ask. He's just enjoying his massage.
Okay, and it's a good sort of like half-hour type massage, and your muscles are feeling nicely refreshed and everything, and you even feel feels almost like a combination of getting a massage and going to the chiropractor by the time he's done. It's like,
Right.
okay, things. Uh, you're probably ready for a uh, good hot steam bath by now. But he finishes up, and he then takes a towel, and he, will sort of wipe down your arms and legs and back, and your stomach and chest when he's doing the massaging the other side and whatnot. And then he says, "All right, sir, we're all done."
Thank you. You do very good work. I feel much better. And I
Well,
think a hot bath would do me much good.
oh yes, the hot bath is very wonderful. Well, it's a pleasure, sir. I'm Ilmar. If you need anything, I will be here for you.
Thank you very much. And he leaves, and
Okay.
he goes this way and sees Morgana, and he kind of grins at her as he's passing by.
And, she is working on somebody else's nails now, and then you go past Seth, and he looks up and he says, "Enjoying your stay, sir?"
Yes, it is very nice. Thank you.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Okay, so you go over here, up in the little alcoves at the north edge of the temple. There are these sculpted relief carvings of Sune. Um, that are worked into these two large pillars here and here.
So this chamber is just full of like architectural, but like sculptures and artwork
and
and decor
art.
and whatnot. Okay.
Yeah. And there's large windows here on the north that are letting in, but they're frosted. The glass is frosted, so anybody, you cannot see clearly out, but light can come in, and obviously people outside cannot see in to this bath area. So there's privacy in here from everyone except other people who might be in the bath. And when you walk in, there's no other people apparent, but a quick scan of the water means you can see that figure that's in the water again, and it's kind of moving around. But when you walk in, it suddenly goes very still, and it kind of goes to the far side of the pool from where you are and just sort of sits there.
I will take my garments / clothes off, and I'll carry Tatsumasa with me, and I'll just like, get into the bath.
You hear from the sword, "I expect a good oil rub. I do not tarnish or rust, but I don't like being submerged."
Don't worry, I won't. And he kind of just lays her down on the side, and he kind of like gets in this corner right here and just relaxes.
Okay. All right. And the sword says, "That Masseuse was pleasant enough. What was your reading on him?"
I'm not entirely sure. but he seemed to be probing me for information.
Yes. Are you beginning to have any thoughts about the Manicurist?
How do you know?
Oh. Yeah. What do you think about her?
I think she's a bit of a sadist.
Yes. Anyone else here strike you as being perhaps ill-suited for their role?
Not particularly as of yet, but there's nothing against one who likes to cause pain and see pain in others, as long as it's within the law of the land.
So you say.
Indeed, I tend to lean more towards the neutral side of things.
So, tell me this. If you and another person both enjoy an activity and you enjoy inflicting pain, but the other person finds suffering pain to be distasteful, what then? Sounds like you're in a bit of a quandary.
Are you suggesting that one should unwillingly cause pain to someone? I'm not sure what you're asking.
I'm asking what you think of that. I'm suggesting nothing.
About forcing yourself on pain on others who do not wish it?
Yes, precisely.
I believe that it depends. Is it me? Then no. But I try not to meddle in the affairs of others. But if it was in the open and blatantly against the law, I suppose that I would not necessarily intervene, but I might let the authorities know what's going on.
There it is again. You use the law as a shield, as if the minds of humans or elves or dwarves or halflings or whatever beings could be intelligent enough to make law that will cover all situations. There are times when you cannot rely on the code of others. You must have a code of your own. So, I will ask it a different way. You see two people engaged in an activity that is within the letter of the law, but the one is clearly causing unwanted pain to the other. Do you simply look the other way and think that it's too bad for that person? Or do you intervene? There is no right or wrong answer. I merely wish to know where your moral compass lies.
I would probably not intervene, no. It is not my place nor my business. And as far as the law goes, I believe that it is a construct created that has its pros and cons, and those who know how to abuse it and use loopholes, it is a useful tool.
It's a tool for those who know how to use it, and a weapon to be used against those who do not. That is your belief?
I believe that there always should be a balance. And it is not my place to, nor am I interested in defining or making laws for others. I do as I wish whenever I wish, when I want.
Well, interesting.
If that means breaking the law for my own gain, it's not illegal unless you get caught.
I see.
But sometimes, with that being said, it is important for keeping appearances that one follow the letter of the law. I prefer the areas of gray and not positioning myself solidly in a white or black position.
I see.
How about you? Where do you stand, or do you believe that one should be greatly pious or one should be flexible?
I think that when one chooses a code, one should be consistent and follow that code. If one chooses to be aligned with a greater power, let us say, perhaps a deity of some sort, then one should seek to understand the code of that deity and should seek to follow it as closely as one can.
I agree, but like all things in life, it is a choice.
Yes, it is a choice. What to follow, when to follow, and don't forget that the great powers also have choices. They choose when they feel like those who claim adherence are merely giving lip service, and when they are being faithful. This can be a hard lesson for some to learn.
What you say is true. It is indeed a fact that although we mortals might not believe in the gods, they definitely believe in us. And their reality, even though it might be separate from our own personal spheres of influence, but they are very much in control.
Yes. And while you have been talking with your sword, you've noticed that the figure in the pool has gradually moved around the edge and has gotten a little closer. And it seems to be kind of studying you.
You need not to be afraid. Come. I could use some company.
And it moves over and it kind of bobs up again to the surface and just sort of pokes its watery head out of the water just to the tops of its shoulders, and it says, "You keep saying that. How are you? How are you liking your stay so far?"
It has been good. Are you the one responsible for keeping this water warm and hot and clean, or no?
I can. I have some influence over the pool. Yes.
Hmm. So this is your home then?
Yes, it is my home.
If you will excuse my manners, but what are you?
Make a persuasion check. Oh, goodness. And it says, "Wood elf, you know nothing of nature." And it moves away and dives down under the water. And before long, it seems to disappear.
Must have been something I said. As he speaks to Tatsumasa.
Driving that one away. Drawing the other one nearer. Yes, you have much to learn.
What should I do now, you think?
Well, that's largely up to you. You could sit here all day and let your skin shrivel up like a prune. Or you could go walk around the grounds, or you could go talk to some other folk, or go find your room, go have a meal, whatever you wish.
I think perhaps I should get out of here and dry off, get dressed, and explore the grounds. And that's what I'll do.
Okay. All right. So you head into the. You head back to the changing rooms, and as you are changing, you notice a figure walk by the changing room, and you can see from where the curtain hangs down, you can see like the footwear walk by, and you can tell it's the shoes that Saith was wearing before, the receptionist. And just as it passes your changing room, you can tell that it stops a little bit, and you can hear a whisper. You can't quite hear what's being said, but you can hear just a whisper under the breath. And there's a pause for just a couple of seconds, and then he continues to move on towards the to the north, towards the double doors. And he goes through those doors and out into that area.
Okay. I guess when I finish doing what I'm doing in there, I'll just spend time exploring.
Okay. So the best way out of this place to explore the rest of the grounds is going to be to the north out here, behind this hallway that goes past the treatment rooms. Otherwise, there's a... Let me just double check. There's a kind of a corridor corridor that sort of goes off down here. And a doorway that leads to another passage. So you go out here. As you go out the back of the temple, the north side, you see a shrine off to the west and a tower off to the east. There's a finely crafted stone tower rises among the trees not far from the bathhouse. A statue of a sharp-featured winged elf crouches above the front door, whose bright red surface is decorated with golden swirls. And then looking to the bathhouse to the east, this is a crumbling stone building that must once have been a beautiful shrine. Engraved images of Sune are still visible on the moss-covered stones, her face gazing down on the path by which the faithful would have approached. Stone doors at the front of the shrine appeared to be sealed shut by some sort of thick, clear resin. A faint inscription is still visible above them. That would be this building here, and then a tower is this one over here.
Okay, so a crumbling tower is what you said?
No, the tower is intact.
Okay.
With a red door. The shrine over here, it is crumbling a little bit.
I'll walk over here and kind of look at this.
Okay.
What's going on over here?
And as you get closer, you can see that the inscription says, "Welcome, dearest one. Come find the beauty within you."
Okay. And it's sealed with resin, huh?
Yes.
Weird. And I explore over here. What's going on with this door?
Okay, as you get to the tower, and as you approach it, the door is locked.
No writing, no inscription, no artwork besides the statue?
No, just the statue.
How tall is the tower?
It appears to be 3 stories, so about 40 feet in total, because each it looks like, from the way the architecture is, it looks like the first floor is kind of like a double, like 20 feet tall, and then the second floor is probably 10 feet, and the third floor is another 10 feet.
Looking around, is there anyone that I can see?
No. Although you do hear the muffled echoes, as though coming from inside kind of a walled garden. You hear muffled echoes from over in that area where you saw the woman leading sort of an exercise group, an exercise class.
Okay, so they're in mid-exercise class. Got it.
Yeah.
Is there any...
It's D&D jazzercise.
Oh, no. Are there windows on this tower?
There are some windows, but they're up about the 10-foot level. So there's not any windows on the ground floor that Oyahusa can see in.
Are they
just from?
Are they clear glass, stained glass? Are they milky glass? What?
They appear to be clear glass, and there are shutters which are partly open to let the daylight in.
I'll activate my wing boots and fly up to the window here. Or I'll go around the back side and then do it. And kind of look into a window.
Okay. All right. So you go over there. You can see a luxurious room that contains a large bed covered with rich silk sheets. There's a wardrobe and a dresser with a mirror that stand against the walls.
And that's just like the first floor?
Yeah, that's the first floor.
All right, I'll go up to the second floor. What do I see?
You look in there and you see a well-used kitchen. 3 tables stand in the room, one of which is covered in various vegetables and strange-looking cuts of meat. A wood stove burns brightly against the far wall, and a statue of a winged elf stands in the corner, its face carved into an open-mouthed smile. An elderly dwarf stands before the stove, his hands trembling as he tries to lift a heavy iron pot.
And I'll go to the third floor. What do I see?
The shutters are closed.
Is it like shutters from the inside out kind of thing? Or I'll inspect the shutters. Is there any way for me to like try to flip the latch on them or something? Or is this different kind of construction?
Okay. The from your looking at the shutters on the first floor and the second floor, the shutters are outside of the glass paned windows. However, you can tell from the open shutters that the mechanism to latch and close them is on the inside. So obviously somebody from inside the building would close them and latch them. So these are closed and presumably latched. So there's no mechanism you can see on the outside of the shutters to try to open them. I mean, I can't remember, does Oyahusa have thieves' tools or anything like that?
Yeah, he does.
Okay, I mean, you might be able to use that to see if you could somehow Jimmy the latch or something.
Okay, I'll give it a shot.
I think that would be a dex check. Sleight of hand, and and if you're proficient with these tools, you can add your proficiency to that.
I think it's already built into the sleight of hand. I think sleight of hand and thieves' tools are the same.
Actually, no, it's not. If you are proficient, if you are not proficient with thieves' tools, it doesn't give you any bonus. If you are proficient with thieves' tools, then using thieves' tools gives you your proficiency bonus on top of your sleight of hand. Okay, so 16. You work at it, but you can't undo. You can't unfasten the shutters.
Okay.
They seem to be. Yeah, and at that level, you go around the tower, and they're all closed. The shutters on this level are all closed.
What about at the top?
The top, it's got kind of a roof that looks kind of like one of those wide-brimmed Asian hats.
Uh-huh.
You know,
Okay.
that but it's got tile. I mean, the roof is tile, and it just comes to a little crown, a point.
This tower seems odd. What do I think it is? Is it like a place?
Well,
I'll just go over here and
okay.
just beat on the door, just like a knock, but loudly.
Okay, as you go around as you come back around, and I presume you're still, as you come around, you're still with your winged boots.
I come back down to the ground and just kind of walk up to the door normally.
Okay, as you do approach the door, something looks different, and then you realize the statue of the elf above the door is missing.
What? It's missing.
Yep. It was there before. It's not now.
Okay, is the door still locked?
The door is still locked, yes. And within a couple of minutes, you hear behind you. You hear a door open, and you turn and you look, and you see that both the receptionist, Seth, and the manicurist, Morgana, emerge from the back of the temple building, and they look and they say, "Oh, hello, sir. How are you? Can we help you with something?"
I'm just enjoying walking around the grounds and enjoying the weather.
Ah, yes. Well, this is a private residential tower.
I see. Is it for rent?
No. It is for the staff.
Oh, I see. That makes sense.
Yes. Have you had a chance to enjoy the exercise class yet?
No, I have not. I was just intrigued by the tower and over here, this shrine that seems to be sealed.
Oh, yes. It's under renovation. We will be reopening it soon.
But why seal it with resin? That seems so odd.
Oh, it is just a precept from Lady Firehair that we must keep it purified inside until it is ready to be opened.
I see.
Make an insight check. "14 is not the greatest, but that was kind of a clumsy lie."
Very well. Please go tell the instructor that I will be along shortly. I'm going to finish my stroll through the grounds.
Very well. And says, well, I'd better be getting back to the reception desk. And Morgana says, yes, I will bring your book for you. And he says, okay, thank you very much. And then he turns and he goes back, and she walks over here to the tower, and she produces a little key, and she opens the door, and she goes in and closes the door, and you can hear the door lock from the inside.
Okay.
And the statue is still missing from above the door.
I'll go back over here and look at the shrine again. Anything
Okay.
different?
No, there's nothing different from the shrine for now. It looks pretty much the same.
Don't think Oyahusa would just do a blatant, break and entering into a shrine. He has no idea what's.
Yeah, now it's a little bit hard to tell, but in addition to the double doors here at the front, there's also a window here and a window here.
He'll go around to the side and look into the window if you can.
Yeah, the window again is a little bit too high for to see from the ground, but obviously you have your winged boots, and you can see that around the window it's sealed with that same kind of resin. And so you do notice as you're looking in the window is kind of dusty and is sort of dirty, like it hasn't been maintained. But you also notice there is a shaft of sunlight coming through a circular hole in the domed ceiling of this building.
How big of a light beam?
About the hole at the top is about 10 feet across.
Wow. All right, I'll fly to the top.
And it's an architectural hole. It's not like something broke the ceiling and made a hole. It's designed to be that way.
I'll fly to the top and look down into the hole.
Okay. You okay. The interior of the shrine has an appearance of having been abandoned after some sort of terrible confrontation years ago. Broken benches with shredded cushions are overgrown by thick fungi, and 4 large mirrors hanging on the walls have been shattered, leaving the stone floor covered in shards of broken glass.
Can I get down inside there and do some investigating?
You sure can.
I just want to look for see if I see anything out of the ordinary or any kind of secret doors or compartments or anything like that. Like, just give this a real good search.
Okay. Then all right, so let's see.
Also, I guess, can I ascertain to like what kind of happened in here? If anything at all,
Okay,
sure.
give me an investigation check.
Oh, sure. This will go well.
Okay, that's not bad. There's a grime-encrusted statue of Sune stands against the north wall, so the far wall from the doors. The statue's expression might once have suggested smiling laughter, but streaks of dirt now make it appear as though the statue is weeping. Behind the statue, a staircase descends into darkness. Now, your your 18 is good enough to show you that leading from the. Oh, I'm sorry. I should do that. The leading from the door here towards the top of the stair, actually towards the banister of the stairs here, there's actually tracks of footprints in the grime. It looks like people walk both ways. They walk up to here from the door, and then they walk back to the door. And they close it. The head of the stairs is right here. The footprints do not go to the stairs and do not descend down the stairs. And it just looks like somebody kind of takes a path sort of like this, comes over here, and then turns around and goes back.
I'll descend into the stairs and looking for traps. I mean, I don't know why I would be trapped, but he's a little paranoid right now, so.
Okay, so
he's just kind of moving slowly, letting his eyes kind of scan as he's moving.
Then in that case, whoops. Let's do this. Okay. In that case, as you take your foot and walk down the second stair, your passive perception picks up a noise above, and you look up and you see coming through the hole in the ceiling, you see a gargoyle. And this gargoyle flutters down, or flies down on stony wings, and it looks like it's about to attack. Because indeed, this is initiative.
Initiative.
Yes. So, because you would have had a 14, which still would win.
No, I rolled a 14 anyway. So.
Okay, 14 anyway. So 14.18, and then this one is not set up correctly. This should be a 1.11. So even if it had tied your initiative, it would be okay. So, Oyahusa, you are up first. There is a gargoyle there, and your sword says, "Ha! Guess we know where that statue went."
Yeah. I'll walk over here with my drawing my sword, and I will attack it.
Okay.
Since it clearly means me harm.
Oh yeah, it's not being. It's not there for pleasantries.
Okay. And a swing.
23. Yes. 23 will hit. And you deal 14 damage. And then would you like the 11 to be psychic or force?
Force.
Force. Okay. Great. And it takes all 25 of that damage, and it is not quite bloodied, but it is definitely.
Swing again.
Okay. Oh, and that's another hit. Force again.
Yes.
Okay, so 8 and 13 is 21. And now it is bloodied.
I will take, as a bonus point, I'll spend a key point and use patient defense.
Okay. So now what does that wind up giving you? It gives you. Does that increase your armor class or something? Or spending dodge? Okay. So it has disadvantage on its attacks.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So it will try to make a bite attack and a claw attack. And before I do that, let me just make sure that it always no, never. Okay, and auto yes. Okay, so there we go. Now this should work. Misses with the bite, and with an 11, it definitely misses with the claws. So it whiffs both times, and it just snarls at you.
And I will strike back swiftly on it.
A 21 will hit. Okay, for 24 points of total damage. Oyo, how would you like to kill this thing?
I just with Tetsumatsu, I just kind of slice its head off.
Okay, and it shatters there. Shatters all over the floor. And it is quite thoroughly destroyed. And now as you're standing there, you kind of smell it's like it's kind of the odor of a campsite where there's not actively a wood smoke fire burning, but kind of you can tell that there's been a wood smoke fire here, and it sort of seems to be wafting up from below.
Okay. He will cautiously descend.
Okay, so I am going to copy your token. I'm going to move us over to this particular thing. I'm going to remove this, and I am going to put your token on the stairs here. And then I will tell you what you see. Okay, the stairs behind the statue and the shrine lead down to a dimly lit chamber. A soft white glow rises from a square pool set into the floor of this chamber. Torn cushions, rugs, tapestries, and clothing have been piled in one corner as a makeshift bed, while twigs and scraps of deadfall form a simple campfire. Well, they form wood for a campfire, but it's not lit right now nearby. On the pile there is a figure, and it's a figure that looks to be feminine and is kind of laying down with its back towards the base of the stairs.
My God.
What does the figure look like?
Looks vaguely feminine and humanoid. It's kind of it's got sort of blankets wrapped up around it. It's a little bit hard to tell. But we're dealing with who's damn passive perception.
That's the only thing he's good at.
And so you notice that the figures. There's something odd about the figure's head, and you realize it's not the head so much that's odd. It's the hair. And as you see the hair, as you look at it, it's not exactly hair. It's like thick cylinders that seem to writhe a little bit and are covered in fine scales.
What does that mean for me exactly? Like, do I recognize anything?
Make a nature check. Yeah, that would be nature check to see. Oh, 6. Nope. Seems like a woman with strange hair.
Okay.
Hair that's thick, writhing, and scaly.
Nothing on laying around on the ground or anything like that, other than
just the torn bits of furniture. Are you making an effort to be quiet coming down here, or are you just...
Yes.
Okay. Make a stealth check.
Okay.
Okay. All right. That will... I am pretty certain that that's going to beat the passive. Oh, yeah. It will beats the passive. So you can come down to the base of the stairs, and you look, and you can tell there is something. There is something that is glowing. Something at the bottom of the pool of water that is glowing.
Interesting. Okay. Now, is this figure? Is it like sleeping? I assume, or
If it's not asleep, it's laying down. Again, its back is to the base of the stairs, and the only movement over there, you can see that it's breathing. So you can sort of see the rise and fall of its rib cage as it breathes, and you can see its hair slowly kind of moving about, and as it does, the scales on its hair catch little flickers of light.
kind of moves down here. How well lit is this chamber?
It's not very well lit, but you're an elf, so you have dark vision, so you have enough light. It's basically the light that comes in here is whatever gets filtered down the stairs from the skylight above and the windows above. So it's just and then there's the pool is lit by something glowing at the bottom of the pool.
I don't feel like I could investigate in the water without making a lot of noise. So he'll like slide in behind this stairwell, and since I'm stealthing pretty good, he'll speak up and he'll say, "I don't mean you any harm, but what are you doing here?"
And there's sort of a gasp, and it's like, close your eyes. The voice
Why?
comes from the the figure over on the far side of the room.
All right, but is that really necessary?
It is, unless you want to become a permanent part of this chamber.
How so?
Are you really that stupid? And the figures, does Oyahusa have his eyes closed at this point or not?
Yeah. I mean,
I'm going
his
to
eyes-
presume that if you don't tell me your eyes are closed, that your eyes are still open.
yeah, my eyes are closed. I closed them.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, then in that case, you can hear movement from the other side of the room. And did they send you down here to torment me?
No, I was walking the grounds and it seemed odd and out of place, and I'm a curious person, so I investigated.
Well, you can just leave. I will keep my back turned.
What is the problem here? Why would they send someone to torture you?
Because they didn't have the courage to kill me outright. Just curse me with this form.
Who cursed
And
you?
you can hear now, as she's getting agitated, you can hear some slight hisses also coming from that direction. Hisses that kind of almost sound like snakes.
I guess that doesn't mean anything to me, but that is alarming.
And you then also hear so those sounds, the sounds of her voice and the sounds of the hissing, is coming from where the pile of furs and rags were on the far side of the room. I can ping it so that the player, can see it. It's coming from over here.
Mm-hmm.
But then you also hear a kind of a light splooping sound coming from the water here. And it's you. The last question you had was who, right?
Yeah,
Who would
like
say-
why? Yeah, who would? What you basically like? Why would they come down here and torture you? Like who?
Oh, the hags, you fool!
Oh, he kind of groans to himself out loud. He's like, hags. Why did it have to be hags?
It would not have been if I were not so trusting. It's all my fault.
I knew something was not right. It seemed strange. Just maybe if you told me your story, I could help. Also, before I forget, what is in the water over there?
That is my only companion these last 10 years. I keep hoping, against hope, that the hags will come down here. I would gaze upon them and hurl them into the water, and let my companion have them.
This companion you speak of, what is it? Or who is it?
It is a creature from the elemental plane of water. Some call it a weird. I call it simply friend.
I see. Does this temple waters feed into the bathhouse, by chance?
No. No. The naiad there is her own person.
Naiad. Very strange.
Why would you come here?
I am on a spa day and things have gotten a bit, how do you say, weird.
There's a little sploop from the water again. And you say that. And it says, "Are your eyes closed, visitor?"
They are, yes.
I am going to look upon you. I will tell you when I look away again. And you can sort of hear emotion, and then you can hear a few steps, as if someone is walking towards the south side of the room on the far side of the pool, about 10 or 15 feet. And then after a few seconds, he walks back north, and then you can hear a little bit of rustling, and it says, "All right, I have turned back around again." It is strange to see a wood elf here.
Is it? Would elves travel like other races?
Yes, but down in this dark place. Tell you the truth, I might have hoped I would see a friendly face. There was one, an elf I knew long ago. A drow, but a kind-hearted drow. Not like others. He was a good friend. I suppose he's half a world away by now.
Why are you here? And what cause does the hags have to do whatever they have done to you?
My name is Silvari Silversong. It was I who, a century ago, opened this temple, this shrine to the goddess Lady Firehair. I wanted to share my knowledge and uplift others to help them realize their own worth. But I came to know in time that my desire to help others find their inner beauty was merely a mask for my own insecurities. I began to doubt whether I was even worthy to be a priest of Lady Silverhair or Lady Firehair, the goddess of love and beauty. Then a decade ago, 3 beautiful elf women came to visit the spa. They showered me with praise for my devotion to the goddess and showered me with affection. And in time, I came to share with them the secrets of running the spa and talking with them and hoping that perhaps maybe I could win them to follow the goddess and perhaps become resident priestesses of the shrine with me. As they began to hear of my insecurities, they whispered that they knew things. They knew truths and secrets. And I wanted so much to believe that when they offered to make me feel even more beautiful, I agreed. And they painted a portrait for me, a portrait of me as I desired to look. And the next morning I awoke and I found that the portrait was true. In the mirror, I was just as beautiful as the portrait was. And I was so happy. For a full year, I enjoyed the beauty of that portrait. But then after a year, they brought me here and they said, "Please, swim in the pool overnight. You will be refreshed in the morning." And I thought it strange, but I did because I trusted them. And after my meditation, when I awoke, I found myself in this hideous form. And then I heard their cackling laughter. And for the first time, I saw them in their true forms. Oh, they were clever. They had angled mirrors so that I could see their reflection, and they could see mine. But I could not see my own, and they could not look directly into my eyes. I shrieked, and I cursed at them, but they only cackled, and they slammed the doors and sealed them shut. And I have been locked in here ever since. It's all my fault. Oh, my fault. Oh, my fault. She just starts weeping. After a bit, just the sound of her sobs is all you hear.
I asked her, so it is the waters are what tainted your body?
No, I don't think so. I think it was that bargain when I allowed them to paint my portrait.
I see. Tell me, what did these hags look like in their non-haggish form?
Oh, one is a beautiful moon elf with black hair and sapphire blue eyes. Another is a wood elf with copper skin and reddish hair. And that sounds like the person that was leading the exercise class. And then there is a cheerful, rosy-cheeked wood elf who wears a veil in front of her face to pretend to be blind.
My God.
Did I hadn't seen
You
her.
haven't seen that. You haven't seen that one.
Huh. He pauses for a moment. And he just sits there in silence, and he asks Tatsumasa, he says, "Well, what do you think? Should we get involved or not?"
And Tatsumasa says, think of this one's story. Would you say that this one was following the precepts of her goddess?
No, she should have been wise enough to realize that Sune loves beauty in everything, in all things, and that she was worthy enough as she was. But we mortals are flawed, and we make mistakes, and sometimes we doubt.
And the next question is, do you think that this one is the only one that hags would lure into such a bargain and afflict with such a curse?
No, not at all. From what I know of hags, it is their way of life.
But because this one was not strong enough in her faith, you think that there is no law that has been broken, and thus you would feel no pangs of conscience for simply leaving her to her fate and leaving those foolish enough to come to this shrine to their fate. Is that what you were telling me?
Well, since that it does not directly influence me directly or someone I care about, to be honest, yes, you're correct.
Then perhaps the one who made me misjudged you after all.
But, and I say this begrudgingly, I can't help but feel pity for her, and I am curious. So, because I am curious, I do lean on the side of getting involved, even if it's for the fun of it.
Well, so that is what secret knowledge means to you. Get involved when it seems fun and convenient. Ignore it when it does not affect you.
What, are you my therapist now?
No, but I am a guide who can unlock those things about yourself. If you are willing to submit to the will of the one you claim to follow.
What does that even mean? He's a god of secrets. His very nature is a mystery in itself.
Yes, a mystery to those who merely hear his name. Those who win his favor. Those who seek him out. He can be much more. He can be a guide He can be a master. He can be a giver of gifts. But his gifts come with a price.
And what is this price you speak of?
If he reveals a secret to you, he expects you to make use of it.
Are you implying?
If he leads you to learn something, he expects you to do something about it.
Are you implying that this whole spa trip and this leading of events is his will, that I do something about it?
Do you think that I, a mere sword, would have the power to do all of this?
No, but you did not answer my question.
My creator made it possible before you were even conceived for you to wind up in a place at a time where I could come into your possession. For what reason? I do not know. I still doubt whether you perhaps are even worthy. But it is not my place to judge the wisdom of my creator. It is merely my place to see if you have the wisdom to learn to follow, and not to think yourself the architect of your own destiny.
And in the future, how would one understand Saridar's will in regards to secrets and doing something about it, as you so easily said?
There are ways that one can have conduits to my master. There have been times when I was privy to most of Saridor's secrets. But for many ages indeed, I have not been. Perhaps I think if he has allowed me to come into the hands of one with whom he has found favor, perhaps he might speak through me to you from time to time.
I see. Well, what are we waiting for? Silvari. As Oyo speaks out loud.
Yes. she's kind of blubbering and yes. What is it?
It appears that fortune smiles upon you this day, and I have been sent here to uncover this secrecy and undo the wrong that has been done to you. And this temple of Sune.
Truly you have. Can you tell me your name, stranger?
My name is Oriohusa Kamigawa.
Oyohusa, Kamigawa. I can tell you that the naiad in the bathhouse is a true friend to me. You can trust what she tells you. If you tell her my name, she will reveal what she knows. She has been forced to be in that pool where those vile hags go to bathe day after day. I don't know how she stands it. Beyond her, I do not know if there are any you can trust. But if you lure the hags down here, I would take great pleasure in repaying them. But if you cannot bring them here, bring some piece of them so that I may see that you have finished them. And I don't know where you would find the painting, but if you find the painting of a woman dressed in the regalia of a priestess of Sune, you will find the portrait that they painted of me. I do not know what should be done with it, but I would ask you just to destroy it so that nobody would ever have to look at it again.
If I destroyed it, would it remove this affliction upon you?
I have no idea. I do not know. I am not well versed in the curses, but I do know that this form I have is a curse. And perhaps if there is one that can remove curses, perhaps I can be cured of this affliction.
Perhaps I might have to eliminate the hags to permanently remove the curse.
The only thing that would give me pleasure more than knowing they were destroyed is destroying them myself. But I dare not leave this place for fear that some innocent may suffer the effects of the curse that they have laid upon me.
I will go and see what I can do, and I will make sure to send word to a cleric, and they might come down and assist you if you need it.
Yes, and if you are successful, please tell me that you have succeeded, if you will.
Very well.
And all this time that she's been talking to you, she has been facing the wall. But now that she's standing up, you can see that indeed she has snakes for hair. She is looking away from you. And I'm going to say that Oyahusa would have heard enough stories and would know enough to realize, oh, a woman with snakes for hair. That would probably be a Medusa. And yeah, it'd probably be a bad thing to look her in the eyes.
something I randomly came across in a book at the monastery.
Yeah. I mean, it's a legendary creature. All right, so now we are indeed going to go ahead and do a skills challenge to finish this up. We will draw this out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so as per usual with the skills challenge, it's 4 successes before 4 failures, and this will determine whether or not you outright defeat this, or whether you have to have another combat. And as you go through, we'll talk a little bit about some of the things that that Tatsumasa reveals to you. As you are going. Okay. You come up out of this area, and you find the broken remains of the gargoyle in the floor above, and you go to the as you emerge from the roof, you see that there's 2 women and the receptionist are both outside, and they are walking around the tower, and they appear to be looking up at the sides of the tower, like they're looking to see if any of the windows have been opened or any of the shutters have been disturbed. And you're looking at them from the top of the roof.
Mm-hmm.
They go ahead and what would you like to do? So you see there's 3 total potential enemies out there.
What am I trying to do exactly? Am I trying to...
Well, you have stated that your goal is to defeat the hags. So there's 2 of the 2 women that you've seen before that the person described as hags, and the receptionist guy, the smarmy receptionist, are both out there. So I guess it's up to you. Do you want to try to fight them? Because at this point, they don't see you apparently, and you do see them. So would you like to fight them, or would you like to try to corner one alone, or what would you like to do?
So it's just 2 hags with the receptionist, basically?
Yeah, 2 hags and the receptionist, yes.
The receptionist seems odd. Like, does he feel like he's in on it, or...
He is actively out there helping the 2 hags.
Okay.
So he's either somebody who is a loyal employee doing what he's told, or, you have no idea whether he knows what's going on or not.
Is there any way for me to try to go search for the 3rd hag that's alone and try to do something? Do I have any idea where that would be?
You can. Sure,
Yeah.
you can. So what skill would you try to use to get from where you are to inside without being detected?
Stealth.
Okay, all right. So go ahead and make a stealth check, and we'll... Oh. 31. That's nearly a critical success, but yes, you easily wind up those winged boots. You flutter down. You wait until one of them's back is to you. The other two are kind of out of sight, hidden by the tower, and you dart over that wall into the courtyard and wind up going into that side entrance to the main hall. You get in there, and as you move towards that area where where they were doing the manicures before, you now see standing in the door behind the bar, you see a wood elf that has this little veil across her eyes. And she's just leaning there talking to the bartender that you saw before. And there is a dog, like a mastiff, that is in the kitchen behind the woman. Appears to be laying down on the ground.
Okay. I would like to take a little bit of rope out of my pack, and I want to tie a slip knot that won't slip off.
Okay.
It's like an assassination knot.
Okay.
And so there's a dog in there, and she's talking to the bartender.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know if I could do this, but
Hey, it's D&D. What do you want to do?
I want to cast darkness where they can't see me, shadow step in. You activate Tatsumasa's one of her unique features.
Okay.
So that I can see in that magical sight. I can see in the darkness, and I think it's called, I don't know if I can post it. If I click on it, will it show up in chat or no?
It should, if we have it as a feature there.
I don't think we have it as a built-in feature, but it says that I can. Let's see. It's my tier 1 feature, I think.
Yeah. So let us see. I think what I may have to do is I may have to. I have to open up the.
It's my tier 2. So my sword, Tatsumasa, the Dragon's Fang, can grant the wielder Sarador's sight.
Sight, right.
To a range of 60 feet.
Mm-hmm.
And it just says it's like Devil's Sight. Is it something like different, or is it
No. It's the function is the same as Devil's Sight, so you can see through magical darkness.
Okay, and since I'm attuned to the sword, I can do this. So
yep.
I will do that, and then so I'm trying to do this all extremely quickly, and then I just like put the noose over. I'd like to make I don't know if it's like a melee attack or a sleight of hand check or something, but I want to put this assassination knot rope over her head and pull it tight, and then leave. Like just as soon as I came in.
Okay, well, you, the darkness goes off, and they and the dog are all startled, and you move in and make a melee attack roll with the rope, and you can use
unarmed strike.
Unarmed strike, yes, because your unarmed strikes use dex, because that's your best. Yeah.
Does a 15 work?
15. What is the... Oh, well, okay, because I didn't put it onto this stupid thing, so I have to open up her character sheet and take a look. Oh, 15 doesn't quite hit. But when you do that and you use Saridor's sight, you see that the bartender has transformed into a magical construct called a scarecrow. And the woman, unsurprisingly, has transformed into a hag, and that big mastiff has transformed into a hellhound.
Wow.
And so now you can see them. They cannot see you because the darkness encompasses the area where you are. But your attempt to noose her misses, and you're right there where you could deliver an attack or you could do something else. What would you like to do?
I would like to try to put it back on her, I guess.
Okay, so you all right, you want to try to do an unarmed attack again. Since this is only one character where I am adjusting the rules a little bit, I'm not going to make you do different skills every time.
No,
you can try it again if you want to.
We can do that if you like. I mean,
well, it's whatever you think makes the most sense. And I don't see that another attack attempt is a bad idea.
Okay, because I had yeah.
So
well, can't. Thought that like I would use sleight of hand to do it, but that makes more sense to try to do an attack. So I guess I can do another.
Okay, you can do a sleight of hand if you prefer to use that skill. We can do that. Yeah.
Unless that doesn't. Okay, well I'll try it, I guess.
Oh, 17 is just what you need.
Ooh.
So you get that over her head and you pull it really tight, and she screams, and Tatsumasa just seems to beg you to strike her, while you're there holding it. So it would be a free attack if you want to strike her.
The way the knot's constructed, once you pull it tight, you can't. Like, you wouldn't be able to remove it unless you cut it off of you. So unless she could do that, she's just going to choke to death.
Okay. All right. So she is struggling against that, and she starts to fall down, and she lands on the floor, and the hellhound is just barking up a storm, and shoots jets of fire out of its mouth, just sort of in random directions, and misses you because you made your roll. Okay, so you're now kind of out of that immediate range, and they're still covered in that darkness as long as you maintain the concentration. What would you like to do next?
Well, since so she's not neutralized yet, or
you can tell that she's going to be.
Yeah.
She's in that darkness. She's flailing around. She's the only thing she can try to do is get that rope off. so she's not in any position to cast spells. She's not in any position to attack or to give commands to anybody or anything or whatever.
I would like to use my Cape of Monte Bank or Bonk,
Okay.
however you say it, and Dimension Door out.
Okay. So do you want a Dimension Door back into the garden area or back into the area where you saw the others or into some other area?
Can I get back to a safe spot behind the temple again?
Oh yeah, sure you can.
Is that not too far?
It's 500. It's like 500 feet. So yeah, any place on that map.
Okay. What do I need to roll for that?
That would just be let's see. I would let you use either an Arcana, since it's like technically a spell-like effect, or you could use an Acrobatics because it's a movement.
Okay, I'll use Acrobatics.
Okay. 18. Yep, you do it. Okay. So, I'm sorry that you made a second, and now this is a third success because I forgot to move it from getting the rope successfully the second time. Okay, so you are now back behind the temple, and you can now hear the baying and the howling of that hellhound, and the two women out here. They have dropped their disguise and they now appear as hags. I should actually tell you the one in the kitchen. When you got that rope around her neck, or when you saw her true form, she is shriveled and worn. Her dark green skin is covered in bark and fungus. Insects crawl across her and hide in a thick braid of white hair that curls around her shoulders like a serpent. She has milky white, seemingly blind eyes. And her face is decrepit and withered by age. And the two you see outside, there is one that is a pale, thin creature whose long, matted black hair is festooned with ornaments made from bones and teeth. Her mouth curves unnaturally high at the corners, and her blood-red lips are covered in blisters and boils. And then the other one that's outside appears as a hunched figure with one muscular and one withered arm. She has cat-like eyes, and rust-red hair covers her head, back, and arms. Her sharp fangs cause her to... Okay, well, she's not speaking now. She hisses and screeches now. And those two are running, and you no longer see the receptionist. Instead, you see you see a humanoid that has some half-elf traits, it looks like, but it also has horns and leathery wings and a sinewy tail. It doesn't look exactly like an incubus, but it perhaps reminds you of what the offspring of an incubus and a half-elf might be.
Do I know what that is called? What that creature is? Or
We'll do this as not part of the skills challenge, but you can make a history check to see if it rings any kind of bells, or history or religion, whatever it is. Okay, history is good enough. Yes, you would recognize this as something called a cambion. A cambion, which is the offspring of a fiend and a humanoid.
I see. Now, are hags considered fiends or no?
No,
Or
they're fae.
They're fae.
They're fae, yeah.
Okay.
But it's, clearly, okay, if that was the receptionist, then yeah, he's probably in on it. So you've got two hags out here and this demonic fiendish thing. And what would you like to do next?
So they're running away from. Are they running towards?
They are running towards the bathhouse now, with basically the alarm that's been raised by the hellhound, making all that racket.
Okay, I would. So we know possibly that painting is in that tower. Would that? I mean, is there some kind of roll or something I could see to maybe? Because I kind of pretty well explored the spa, except for probably the right side of the complex, which I'm guessing was just the guest quarters and things like that.
Okay.
And I hadn't seen any painting in any part of the spa, right? That I was access to.
Correct.
And they got this tower locked.
you could maybe try to pick the lock, or
I want to use perception on the tower to see which window would be to get up there and see which one would be the easiest to get into.
Okay. All right. So yeah, you can go over to the tower and make a perception check. Oh, yeah, easily. So you get over there and you find one that is sort of on the back of the tower, or the opposite side of the tower from the bathhouse, where the latch mechanism looks like it's partly loose because maybe the wood of the shutter is a little bit rotten. So that probably would be the weakest one and the easiest one to, either fiddle open or just overpower and open that way.
Okay, I'd like to use I guess athletics to kind of pry my way in there.
Okay. Oh yeah. You rip that open, and as you do, you then are able to maybe to take the pommel of Tatsumasa and smash one of the panes of glass, which, with the hellhound going off, and now there's people screaming inside the thing, and nobody's going to hear you doing that from out here. So you smash that, and you get to the let's see, so the tower, Rapunzel. When you open this window at the top, cold air blasts out from this top chamber, and it carries a putrid scent.
Ooh.
What might have once been an elegant bedroom has long since been soiled and ruined. Murals of Sune that lined the walls have been defaced with dirt and filth. 3 beds are covered in moldy blankets and animal furs, including one topped by a canopy of giant bones and reeking untanned hides. Empty crates are scattered throughout the room like furniture holding broken weapons, moldering clothing, and other odd objects.
Do I notice any paintings or anything like that, or anything like art statues?
Not here. However, you do notice in the center of this room there is a spiral staircase leading down.
Okay. I'll go down the staircase then.
Okay, you go down the staircase. As you approach the top of the stairs, your passive perception, you notice a glyph has been inscribed into the filth on the floor at the top of the stairs.
Mm-hmm.
So you can either activate your boots or easily kind of jump over that to avoid stepping in it. And you clatter down the stairs, and you see the dwarf that you saw is still in here because this is the kitchen, and the dwarf is sort of back against the far side wall, and his hands are up in front of his face protectively, and he's like, "Please don't hurt me! Please don't hurt me! Please don't hurt me!"
I won't hurt you if you tell me. Have you seen a painting of a woman who was rather attractive in regal attire?
And he lifts a shaking hand and he points to a door. And he says, "In there. They keep them in there. In there. All of them are in there. All of them are in there. All of them are in there." Starts weeping.
Okay, and Leo goes over to the door.
Okay, is this door locked? I don't think this door is locked. Nope, the door is not locked. Piles of straw and moth-eaten blankets have been set up in this area as rough beds, and broken furniture and garbage is scattered around. In contrast to the squalor, 4 fine paintings hang along the curved outer wall. Each one is hauntingly beautiful, but also a bit unnerving to look upon. And one of the paintings is of a brawny female golden-scaled dragonborn warrior engaged in battle. Another is of a tall male tiefling with sparkling violet eyes wearing many fine jewels. The third is of a youthful male shield dwarf dancing at a feast. And the fourth is a radiant female moon elf gazing upon her own reflection while garbed in the regalia of Sune, of a priestess of Sune.
I see. Okay. Well.
And the picture of the dwarf, you could almost swear it's a younger version of the dwarf that just pointed the way in here.
Okay. Let's see. What can I do? Okay. Well, so this came through the kitchen, basically? Is that what happened?
Yeah, you came through the kitchen.
All right. Yahusa grabs something flammable and he goes back to the kitchen and he lights it on fire. And then he comes and he throws it in the room. He's going to burn this tower to the ground.
Oh, wow. Okay. So let's see. Skill check. What would we... you have one more success that you need.
Is the gold basically to destroy the painting, right?
Actually, yeah. Let's actually do this. You have that thought that you're going to do that, and Tatsumasa speaks up and says, "Really? Just on impulse? You're not even going to check to see if that's the right thing to do?"
Well, what do you suggest?
Well, somebody who's wants to make sure the job is done right would at least take the time to inspect the paintings.
Yahusa just kind of like puts out what he lit on fire, and he goes back to the room, and it's like, all right, I'll take a better look. And he goes in and he starts he'll investigate the paintings.
Okay. All right. So yeah, go ahead and make a investigation check. Oh, yeah, that's actually good enough. Okay, so that's going to succeed. Now let me tell you what it says. Okay. All right. Yeah. All right. You realize that the painting is impervious to damage unless the magic used to make it can be somehow disrupted. And you understand that you can destroy the painting either by doing an athletics check using strength to actually rip the canvas, or if you can find the fresh blood of a celestial, you could sprinkle that on the paintings and that would destroy them. But any other kind of damage, trying to burn it, trying to slash it, trying to poke a hole in it or do whatever, would not work. It has to either be ripped by hand or it has to be destroyed with the blood of a celestial.
Well, Oyo doesn't have fresh celestial blood laying around somewhere. So I guess I'll have to...
You don't? The sword says. And something catches your eye, and there's like a flash over in the corner of the room, and you see a figure that looks like a deva. If Oyahusa knows what a deva is. It's like an angelic being.
Right.
And it pulls a silver dagger out, and it just scores itself across the palm, and it holds its hand out above a little glass beaker, and it holds it there for about 18 seconds as blood just sort of pours into that. And then the deva kisses the blade of its dagger and presses the flat of the dagger to its palm, shows it to you. The wound is completely healed, and then the deva winks out and the beaker of blood is still there.
Oyo's just like kind of staring in shock. And he talks to Tatsumasa. He says, well, that was mysteriously convenient.
What other secrets might you uncover if you accept my master's gifts?
Indeed. And he walks over and picks up the container and comes back to the room.
Okay. As you sprinkle the blood from the beaker onto the paintings, they dissolve and they start to shred and tear and rip away. And from the kitchen, you hear a gasp, and then you hear somebody sobbing, but you can tell this is tears of joy. And it sounds like the hearty sobbing of a adult dwarf in its prime. And as you destroy the last of the paintings, you sort of feel something within you that kind of shifts and changes and moves, and there's like this almost this ripple of energy that sort of flows through you, and the beaker just sort of dissipates into nothing in your hand. And as you look around, the walls of the tower and the floor of the tower just dissipate into nothing. And you blink a couple of times and you're back in the garden at the house that Hargaf has in Waterdeep. And you no longer quite feel like a monk. You feel like you've been on a journey. You feel like mysteries of the universe that you always thought were unknowable. You now feel like maybe there is an answer to them. Maybe I can attain that. And you kind of realize that there are, echoing something that Tatsumasa said before you had this vision quest or whatever it was that you just went through, you realize that there are abilities that you had not yet tapped that you now realize you can call upon. And there's a very satisfied, sort of almost smug feeling from the sword. It doesn't say anything, but sort of telepathically, you sort of get this sense of, now he gets it, coming from the sword.
Interesting.
And it says, well, now this Oyahusa, I like this Oyahusa better. I think we can go places now. Let's go find out what mysteries Saridor will open for us, shall we?
Yes, that sounds very interesting. And he's just kind of like sitting there, kind of confused, but
yeah.
Yeah.
And you look up at the sky and you realize it's dusk. And you feel really hungry.
Wow. So was this like more than a day kind of thing?
You'll have to talk to somebody and find that out.
Interesting. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, Oyahusa, wonderful. Ken, when you get back from your fishing trip, you can tell everybody in the party what Oyahusa's new class is. In the timeline, this will all happen between the session on the 9th and the session on the 23rd.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be a session that you as a player are away. So when you're back in June, because so when you're back in, because we're not going to play on the 30th,
right?
When you're back in June, you can tell them all what happened to Oyahusa, and of course you can let them know in the Discord if you want to between now and then. But on stream will be the first time you have a chance to let them see that. So if you think there would be any sort of physical changes, oh yes, physical changes. The shave and the haircut that you got while you were at the spa, you still have that. So that apparently actually happened to Oyahusa. And the effects of the massage, apparently, you still feel like you got a really great massage. So that apparently happened. But yeah, so congratulations on unlocking your custom class. It's a long time coming for Oyahusa.
2 years in the making, yeah.
Yeah. And for those that have put up with this entire episode, which I'm going to do some cutting down on it, minor editing here and there for when there was some dead air, but not a whole lot. For those of you who sat through this, Ken is actually largely responsible for the fact that our game has become so customized. He was the first one who broached the idea. I decided to play a monk, but that's not really what I want to play. I want to play a ninja, but they don't have a ninja class. And so that started getting the wheels turning of, could we invent a ninja class? And once I thought, well, he helped me come up with the mechanics of how we would do that. And once I realized, we can build a ninja class, then I thought it's only fair if we allow everybody else to build a custom class. And that sort of has helped to evolve the campaign. So, but we knew from the start we wanted to do something really kind of unique with Oyahusa's custom class in terms of how it would be revealed to him, and that it would be a process and not just a ta-da.
Pretty much, yeah.
So, all right. Well, thank you, Ken, for putting up with this, and thank you for suggesting that. And you'll be with us on
Sunday.
We're recording this on Friday the 7th. So Ken will be playing on Sunday the 9th, and all those of you watching this on YouTube won't get it until probably somewhere around the 23rd, or after the 23rd.
Right, which
yeah.
It would be kind of interesting. It's like all of a sudden this Sunday when we play, I will have my abilities, but you'll have to watch the episode that you watched just now to figure out why. So.
Yeah. Okay. Well, talk to you on Sunday, Ken, and viewers on the YouTube. Thank you very much. And we hope you will join us on Sundays for the live sessions of Waterdeep, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Take care, and we'll talk to you later.